All right, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Princes of Azemar, Season 5, Episode 23, City on the Edge.
Bum, bum, bum.
Tonight we've got a little funky party composition, and we're like 2 hours earlier than usual because of scheduling nonsense. But let's go ahead and start with a round of intros in the top left, played by Lily, one half of the twin blacksmith fighters. She's an Eldris brother. You've probably heard of her. In the top right, combined in one frame, we've got Brandon and Nicole playing Burnham and Irina, and I'm not going to get their intros right because they're both in the same frame and I can't do this.
Burnham, smart, you can't hit him.
Smart.
Irina, paladin, formerly of the Morning Lord, formerly of Mother Night, now of Ill-Mater.
Yes.
Got it.
All right, and last but not least...
You're not going to take a stand and just work for her own damn self. You know what I'm saying?
Right?
Like, damn, self-love is what's needed in
She
here.
works for justice, okay?
And last but not least, in the bottom, our friend Lincoln playing the dragon formerly known as Dirk Courage, the fashion dragon himself, Nadam Ilrio Nazir. Whew. There we
But
go.
only one sword.
Yep. It's so much harder when they're in a different order and different people are here. Alex unfortunately can't make it tonight. Bobby may or may not be joining us a little later. We'll see.
That's chorus.
That's Koros, yeah, and Alex is Eridan, yeah. All right, so let's go ahead and get into some last time on. So, y'all were in Azai, the capital city of the old empire of Azemar. And you were there attending the Ascent Ball. You were sort of waiting around for the snow to melt before you can take your mages and head back to the west and go, fight those orcs. In the meantime, you got invited to Ascent. At Ascent Ball, some chaos started to happen. This other arena showed up, which you knew there was another arena running around, but you didn't know what was going on. And then it sort of flipped everything on its head. You sort of realized that the arena with the scar was maybe a false scar. There's a bit of chaos. You chased some snake people around. And it all culminated in y'all getting arrested for doing magic. Well, not Theo and not Koros, but everyone else getting arrested for doing magic and being taken to the mage asylum to go sort things out. Because y'all claimed that you knew Zavarin and that you were on a secret mission from him and blah, blah, blah. And the mage was like, you know what, I don't have to figure this out. I'll just take you guys in and we can figure it out at the station. So, let's jump in right there. Burnham, you were chewing that seed, you pulled it out, you're like, I'll just pop a hole in this thing. Pfft. Nothing happened.
Maybe we could hit it?
Are they in the asylum right now?
No, they're in the back of a cart, in like a wagon with metal doors.
Right, okay, cool. No, I didn't know if that's where he was trying to get out of.
Yeah.
It's the carriage.
And clearly some kind of anti-magic field.
Anti-magic carriage.
all of us in there,
Fancy.
right? Except for Theo.
Yes, I'm blissfully unaware on a lovely date with my girlfriend.
And Koros is still walking back from far outside the city.
He's
How
on a hike.
urbane. Walking back? I didn't know wizards did that.
He's a warlock.
Fair enough. Good
He
point.
doesn't have money for the bus, so he has to walk. He's gonna skateboard back.
Right?
I will. Should I break this thing? Should I try to break it?
If you think you can break it off the hinges, I mean, it's very... It's thick, it's made of iron.
Yeah, it seems unlikely.
Try though, might as well.
Yeah, I guess I will see if I can,
Alright.
like, kind of push it against the
With what?
door. My arms.
Okay.
But we not, yeah, we don't have a weapon.
Yeah, we don't have weapons, I forgot.
He is
Yeah.
almost as strong as a human can be.
Say it like that.
He has a better strength than me.
In real life.
Yeah, in real life. I will see if I can just try to get, like, the right... I feel like that's totally not going to work.
You can
I'll
throw
try.
your body weight up against it.
I'll try.
Even if you rolled a natural 20, I'm afraid that breaking through these doors without some kind of tool or something to give you leverage or something it's just not feasible.
We don't have anything, do we?
Not really.
Was I disarmed?
No. You have your sword.
I just don't think that would help.
And they didn't take your arms either.
Those are magic weapons.
It's true.
Make a good point.
Do I think that would help?
Or would it rebound and
Probably
hit you in
not.
the face?
You're not even sure if they count as magic weapons inside of an anti-magic field.
Fair. Yeah, I mean, they're taking us to see Zavrin. Let's just, I guess, see the annoying bald elf man.
There's some very angry-looking, hold person, frozen snake people just on the ground around you. They all
I don't
have
care.
anger in their eyes, but they're stuck, held person in place.
Can I search them and see if they have anything?
Yeah, you can search them. They actually have all their stuff with them, but a lot of their bags got left behind in the inn.
Do any of them have weapons? 'Cause
Yes, they do have weapons. You're able to pull a scimitar off of one of them.
Cool. Sounds good.
We still need to take one of them if we find a way out, anyway. When we want to question them. I mean, we need to figure out what was going on with well,
Me.
have we told Arena about the other Arena and the snake person that came up? I don't know where we are on that. I
Irina
forgot.
knows about other Arena.
I know,
she
but do
doesn't
you know
about
that the snake person came up and said the thing?
I don't think so.
You were there when the snake person came up. And
I'm
said
sorry,
the
he said it to you. My bad.
Oh,
sorry,
yeah.
my
It was
bad.
to you.
I'm
Other Irina wasn't there.
I'm sorry, yeah,
Did she
yeah.
know? Was she there? Yes, it was directed at her.
thing.
He was
gets
the
confusing.
protagonist in that scene.
It was weeks ago. I mean, hours ago. I mean,
I agree. It's been a long night.
What can I say?
We don't know how balls are. People lose track of time.
Cool. So you get that scimitar. Y'all are traveling. In this, in these couple minutes while you're in here, Irina, ever since that mage took that ring off of you that was scattered in your mind, your thoughts and your memories have becoming more and more clear. And you are talking to everyone there, and you're talking about like when they what you last remember, when they last remembered, and you're actually able to piece together that when you guys teleported from King Haroon's palace to Al-Zali, that's the last thing you remember is teleporting there and then being pulled away, and then you have, muddy memories of Vizarin and of other things and strange things that don't really make sense at the point, and then sort of waking up, stumbling out of a building somewhere in Azai, like a warehouse, stumbling through the city and finding yourself at the ball.
Okay. So yeah, she doesn't remember any of the in between that actually happened there.
Mm-hmm.
And that must be when you were swapped out.
I suppose so.
And for the rest of you all, she still has the scar over her eye here. You guys haven't figured out what's causing that. It's a false scar now from Aridin and Irina talking to that mage.
Possibly a knife?
Do we think it's like illusion magic or something?
Something like that. That's what the
Like a glamour?
dude with true sight
It's a-
seemed to imply. Yeah, like a glamour.
sorry, do we know, would True Sight see through a normal mundane disguise or only a magical one?
That's a great question. I actually need to look up true sight.
I feel like magical.
Well,
but
I don't actually have that spell, so I might not know. That's fair also.
True seeing. Let's see. To see things as they actually are. That is the phrasing. So let's say yes.
Yes.
Okay. Could just be very well done.
I suppose so.
You know how the rogues get about these days.
After a short ride and some of this conversation, you guys, the cart comes to a stop. The doors open in the back into this hallway, sort of dark, lined with torches. They lead you down the hallway and into a cell. They take the snake people. Some other people you see. They sort of leave them in the cart as you guys walk out, and behind you, you do see that some mages come out and are carrying the hold-personed snake people. The rest of you get led all together into one large cell. You have to wait there for some more time until eventually you hear a familiar voice on the stairs talking to someone. You hear they're speaking in Elvish, in Azayan. But the familiar voice there is Zavarin. And when Zavarin comes down into
I understand him.
he's
I
basically
assume it's not important.
he's getting filled in on what happened.
Ah.
And he comes in and he looks at you, Burnham, and he says, "Really? Seriously? Writing in the
charmed.
sky?
Oh,
Are you
no,
a
that wasn't
fool?"
charmed. That one wasn't
Well,
charmed.
I thought we'd get out before the guards arrived.
We work very hard to keep the city in line with the Davros laws. We can't just go pardoning people left and right for casting blatant magic in the sky.
Could we perhaps defer
point.
his sentence? Community
I-
service, but
Charmed
later?
by the snake afterwards. But,
He orders the mage to go get something in Elvish, and as the mage leaves, he says, he calms down a bit after the other mage is gone. He says, "It will be fine. I will take you back to Asik. We will give you your mages, and you can be on your way before Vizerin gets involved and any of this gets even more complicated. You've made things much harder for me here."
well, I'm very sorry, but I thought it was imperative, and we had to think on our feet a little bit. I mean, there's snakes around and talking about this nonsense, that nonsense, who is who, which person's which, my queen,
And there's two of me.
you know.
Enough! And he says, let's move quickly before he returns. He waves a hand over the lock. It unlocks. He slides it open. He says, "This way."
Move quickly. That's something I can do.
True.
Oh yeah, let's go.
He leads you down a different hallway in a different direction. And he says, "Where's the rest of your party? Theo and Koros?"
Theo was at the ball. Theo didn't get caught up in all of this. Koros is somewhere. I'm sure he'll fend for himself.
Well, get word to them.
Well, so you don't need to worry about him, at least.
All he does is punch things and hit things with swords. So he can't
Says,
go in too much trouble here.
Get word
Alright.
to them, without casting letters in the sky, that they need to return to Asik urgently. You'll be on your
tell
way
them
tonight.
With the what's it?
Alright, you
with
tell
the-
them with the
The
sending thing?
ear
Alright.
doodle. Which has got to be getting uncomfortable in there.
It's kind of fair.
What's getting uncomfortable in there?
The earpiece that we all have
Having
in
that
the
earpiece in
room.
there for this long.
It's like this old, like, dusty piece of wax that we've, like, remolded and shoved so many times, and it's getting hard now.
Yeah.
Not pleasant.
It's no longer clear. It's like
Yeah, it's got all the dirt in it.
Yeah.
He leads you out back to his carriage, which is what you arrived at the ball in. He ushers you all inside. He speaks to the driver momentarily, and then he gets in with you. And he says, "I've arranged for 3 companies of mages to attend to go with you. That's a dozen mages each. They can be configured in any number of. They can be trained in any number of configurations. They should have enough Hydrolon Dark to last them for more than
Campaign.
enough for your campaign. As you may have learned previously, the Hydrolon Dark cannot be teleported. So, therefore, the mages will not be able to teleport with it. And you will have to proceed back to the west by foot.
can't the mages fly?
They can. You cannot.
That's true. We'll handle ourselves. We can teleport just fine.
And he says they need leadership. They should not be left to their own devices for very long.
Ah, I understand.
Interesting.
They're arranged numerically. They do not have names. They are first of 12, 7th of 12, in 3 different companies. You can name the companies how you wish, as long as they're distinct and simple. It should not be a problem.
So something like colors or an animal would be simple.
Colors, animals, letters from foreign alphabets.
Makes sense. And I assume I have found reading material on
There's
how to command mages.
not a lot. You found a little bit, but there's just like it's not very common that someone who is not of the arcane circle is commanding mages.
Really?
Yeah. Typically when there's when there's a battle and there's a war, someone from the arcane circle will be liaising with the rest of the military and they will be commanding the mages directly.
Oh, okay, cool.
This is very unconventional. He says, since you do not have the benefit of decades of training, you will have to be creative with their uses.
Any advice from someone with, I assume, centuries of training?
And he says,
Does he not bother to correct you?
he
I'm
doesn't.
complimenting him. I know you're trying to pour 10 gallons into a thimble, but hopefully I'll get a thimble's worth.
He says, I'm particularly fond of their the special mortar. The 3rd company that I'm providing you has done some experimenting recently, and we should just try it out.
Understood.
He eventually gets to the teleport spot. You guys teleport to a seat.
Is he so powerful he only has to go...
The circle here is operated by others, so... you guys arrive back in Isik, and he takes you back to his manor, and starts getting things ready for y'all to leave. He tells you guys all to go change and get packed, because you're going to leave tonight.
Dang. Fast turnaround.
Well, he basically, his concern at this point is that you guys have now given cause for Vizerin to seize all of you, arrest all of you, try something.
Yeah, but there's reasonable charges now.
Totally understand. I'm ready to go as soon as he wants us out. I will use remaining time to take a bath, because we're going to go fight a war. Don't know what I'm going to get in the middle
Yeah!
All right.
Can I take a
I have
bath
a
too?
question.
Yes.
All right, please, welcome to join me, Theoden.
Alright.
Other Irina left all of her stuff.
Correct.
Right? Okay, so I have stuff now.
You have all your typical stuff except for the earpiece.
Oh, okay.
She has the
But I wouldn't-
earpiece.
Do I have a holy symbol or no?
Pardon?
A holy symbol?
Yeah, you'd have a holy symbol, like, because that... Yeah. She took a holy
Arian
symbol
would
with her,
probably
but
lend you one. He has a couple.
Cool. Sounds good.
different gods, but yeah.
He just like,
later
holy
in
symbols? Holy symbols? Want to buy a watch?
All right.
Like all the gods.
Yeah, exactly.
We'll do a quick meanwhile to Theo.
Okay.
You having a good night? You get the call. We need to get back to Asik and out of here.
I'm gonna ask Esmeralda what she wants to do.
She says,
Like, I don't want to tell her what to do, so.
she says, I was, hoping to spend a little more time about the town, but if your friends are in trouble...
You could bring her.
Yeah, I'm asking her if she wants to come or if she wants to stay, like, watching over my family, like, basically.
Oh, like that scale. I thought you meant just like right now going back to Asik.
Oh, no, I'd be like, there's not time for coffee, so, like, no. We have, like, hours together. This
Yeah.
all took a while. Like,
No worries. She's a little conflicted because she was told by the Morning Lord to keep your family safe. And she effed up by coming sooner than she was supposed to.
I mean, if she feels like she needs to stay, then she should do that, but, like, I need to have a way to communicate with her, like, more readily.
She wants to be by your side and helping, fighting with you, but she also doesn't want to put your family in danger.
well, you know, staying with them, guarding them is like guarding a different part of my heart. So it's very important. So.
She's all
You
right.
know, Darius III, Shah of Persia, brought his family with him on campaign.
It's true.
He also was murdered by one of his generals.
Also true. I was about to say that. So I got there first.
She says she will leave the decision with you. She will stay with your family, but if you want to bring her, or bring your family, or any combination thereof, she'll do what you think is best.
Okay, can I go to my dad and ask my dad?
Yeah?
All right.
Mr. Eldris.
Yeah. Well, I want to know what he wants to do. Like, it has to be his call. He's still the patriarch, so me and my mom should decide
He
what they
says,
want to do.
as
I
much
don't want
as
to be the person to be like, you're too old to go to war with me. You know what I mean? Like, he should be able to decide for himself what he wants to do.
I mean, he's saying that, like, he thinks he and Amos could be super useful making things.
I mean, we did that in the time lapse.
Yeah,
too.
he did some of that. That's always useful in war. He asks you, like, his understanding is that Angate is safe, right? That, like, the family could stay in Angate.
I wouldn't call Angate safe. I would call it temporarily stable. But if you...
And he says he worries about Grandma Stormbanger.
Yeah, me too.
He knows your mother would be fine. She's tough.
Yeah, she's pretty badass, though.
Amos is still a bit young, but he learned quick.
All right. Here's what we'll do. Let's send Esmeralda and my family. I'll ask Avron to do it for me, but have him teleport circle them to Angate. Can he do that?
Mm-hmm.
All right. They'll be like our base bitches. And then I want to ask.
Nice business. Gather supplies.
Yeah. Am I at Avron's house right now?
So you can go up to Zavrin's office.
All right.
And when you go and you open the door, you see he's there at his desk, furiously working on some paperwork and some plans. And as you come in, he shuts some of it and he says, "Yes, Theo, how can I help you?"
I'll say, I don't want for my family to tread on your hospitality any longer, but I think that we could make good use of them during the war were we to station them in Angate.
He says, "Fair enough, that's true. The problem is that they are, technically speaking, still prisoners of Vizerin. And this would be an affront to him. It cannot have happened by my hand. If they escaped, however..."
Can I ask you another question before he continues with that? I say, like, hold on to that. Do you have a means by which I could communicate more readily with them? Something like a two-way mirror or a radio, like any of those objects. I don't know. You seem like a powerful guy. I don't know.
He says, I could provide you with a sending stone.
That would be great. It doesn't need to be all the time. Like, I just need to occasionally send the messages. My father is hoping to create more weapons as we need them. Armor.
How many phones is Theo gonna have?
Dude. He's got a fam phone. He's got a friend phone.
He's got a "we need to save the world" phone.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Grandma Crow phone. That's just called sleeping. Yeah.
Speaking of, you haven't seen her in a while.
Dude, I'm grateful, okay? Hashtag thankful. That's all I have to say.
I'm gonna call you one day and be like, "You never call your granny, dear."
I'm like, damn it, Jim.
She actually,
Not a long gift, Granny Crow.
pretty recently, you reached out to Grandmother Crow. Lincoln, you weren't there that episode.
Oh, you
Darn.
weren't? Yeah, I did.
I don't know if
lost
you
my
watched it,
finger.
but it was almost really, really good. But it was just one really good.
They tried to trick me into trading fingers with my brother, but I said no.
Yeah.
Anyways, so cool. Sending someone would be good, and then, I mean, do you want them to have escaped? Would you rather me to, like, held you at hammer point? However you want to do this, I'm good with that.
And he says,
Or you're again, super powerful and good at like everything, we could also have an illusion of them every time Vizerin drops by or his spies come by to see if they're here.
Vizerin is much craftier than that.
Damn it. All right. Well, it was worth a try. All right. Cool.
And he says, sort of more loudly and formally, "I'm afraid I cannot allow them to leave until they're, until justice has been served."
I'm trying to think to say something loudly back, but just be like, "Curse this wretched system, and its long waits for a proper judge."
He's
As
like,
a
he's like-
human, I have no
he
patience.
gives you this like stop kind of like expression.
Great, cool. All right. Well, whenever you're good to do that, let's roll them out. Kind of how I'm feeling.
So what's your plan, Theo?
I don't like this. That always
I
makes
want
it
to
safe around
teleport
us.
these bitches to Angate, get them set up shop, have a sending stone between us. Done. Get them out of my way so I'm not stressing out about them.
Mhm.
They're still involved and they can feel good about themselves.
Yes, Zavrin can't do that for you.
Oh,
He just
but
said
he,
that.
like, can, right? He, like, can do it.
He is capable, but it would get him in more political trouble, which he's trying to avoid right now.
But what if they escape? I thought that's what he was saying.
Yes, that's exactly what he's saying. He's telling you.
No, can't we, like, teleport escape?
Yeah, and we're supposed to break them out, Theo. Now,
Okay,
I'm gonna go take a bath.
All right. I'll tell my mom and Grandma Stormbanger to, like, get ready to go. I'll tell everybody, Amos to get ready to go. He's to collect all his stupid stones from his dumb slingshot he's put everywhere. Stuff like that. And then, tell my dad and my mom, like, yeah, we're going to send you to Angate. I'm going to have a sending stone. Does he give me a sending stone? Did he do that?
He does provide you with the sending stone.
All right, cool. Yeah, I'll give the other sending stone to my dad for now.
Cool.
This one doesn't go in your ear. It's just a normal standing stone.
This is a normal,
Nah,
like, hold it in
classic.
your palm sending stone.
Nice.
All of Theo's sending stones have like a piece of blue tape on the back that's like family.
Dude, this
Rogar.
sending stone is like the equivalent of like the slide up and you have to type like this.
The Rogar one is on the earpiece, actually.
I know, but it would be funny if he has a bag full of sending stones with blue tape on
Names
the
on
back.
them.
I have that glow in the dark chalk. I mean, it could be for that.
There you go.
Oh, that'd be so funny.
The name came off this one. I don't know who this is for.
Your family starts packing their
Or
bags
sending
and getting
stone, I don't know.
getting all their stuff ready.
Okay.
Esmeralda comes to you. She's like, "So what's the plan?"
And I'm like saying, stay with my family, keep making sure Angate's secure.
No, I mean,
say it
what's
nicer
the
than that. I
plan to
say it
get
more
your
often
family
than
out
that.
of here?
Can I find Burnham?
Yes.
Hey, Burnham,
I,
can you do like teleport shit for other people?
of course. I mean,
Oh, great,
wait,
cool. Can
I
you
don't know
like,
if I might have to go with them, but I can always come back the next day.
Alright, sick, yeah, alright. I just gotta send, I don't know, like 5 people to Angate, is that cool?
Sure. You don't need me till tomorrow.
No, that's fine. Yeah, well, why don't you stay in Angate overnight, and then you can teleport to wherever we are.
All right. Sounds good.
Cool. Hey, Nadam, I know you're in the bath, but where are we gonna be tomorrow so Burnham can find us?
Yeah. I was like, how's we gonna
Well, we have our stones.
How about
but-
we just tell him tomorrow? I'm like,
Oh, yeah, yeah.
soaking.
Oh, I have
I've
a
got,
sending
something
stone that's
over my
going with them.
eyes. I've got like some kind of
So-
tropical fruit
There-
sliced on my eye.
I will remind you that your sending stones did have some trouble sending across the dragon spine mountains.
Yeah, but this new one, where my family has one and I have one, we can still ask.
Yes, these are larger, more traditional sending stones. They will not have that problem.
Blah.
Yes.
Meet us in 5. I'm buying.
So I go with your family. They tell me where to go. I go back. Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
You know that the place I go to has to be a place I know. Otherwise, I can't get there. Right. Or at least
Yeah, I
they
don't
need
think
a
we're gonna
place.
make it like too far in 12 hours, so you're good.
Okay.
What
Sure.
about how long did it take us to get through that pass to the little monk's place?
Oh yeah, Little Monk's place.
Yeah, we could go to the monks.
You're not. That's not the path you'll be taking back because that would be the long. That would be the long way.
Oh, we're
Never
gonna go the short way this time.
Yeah.
So where are we going?
Yeah, I can describe it on the map for y'all.
I can't.
So
We'll meet up with Burnham. We'll tell them where to go.
All right, cool. Sounds good.
he may, mishap a few hundred miles off course, but it'll be fine.
Fine, we did that before. It all worked
Looking
out.
forward to it.
Short stroll.
Pushing
Um,
those dwarven legs.
Yes.
So when you guys came here from Angate, you sailed all the way around to Selene on the south side, came through Donalach, through Tartosha, up through Daristan, and all the way up to Azai. On the way back, you're going to basically, like halfway through your north-south, you're just going to cut west. So just north of Daristan in the small town of Tristram, you'll cut west, go through Jezero, through the mountain pass to Rokai.
Oh, can we go back to Daristan? I want to get. I went to Daristan and I didn't see an Instant Fortress T-shirt.
That'll be good.
And then to Rokai, and then from Rokai, you travel down the cliff and then across to Angate.
Sure. Sounds great.
Cool. So, Burnham, you teleport the family.
Eldresses, gather up. Make sure you keep your arms inside the vehicle. The vehicle is this bubble of air right here. Don't leave it. If you do, half of you will get teleported. Not good. I've seen it. Don't do that. Stay here with me. Make sure you grab onto a hand. Don't let go, even if you feel like somebody's tugging your foot. Left foot also. Left
Had
foot
that
does not.
happen too.
That's happened too. Many times. All right,
Do
let's
you have
go.
your teleportation buddy?
Where am I going? Angate?
Angate.
Angate. Angate. And then I take out the stone tower. Like you see a little miniature city of Angate really quick before it collapses, and then we spin off.
Yeah! I'm glad you do the somatic component as well.
And where is the here's D100.
Angate, let's see. You are very familiar with Angate.
Yeah, do they have a summoning circle though? Other than do I know the summoning circle for Angate?
You don't know if... I don't think Angate has a permanent circle.
Okay.
Or if it does, it was damaged in the battle.
Uh-oh.
No, you're fine. Very familiar. 25 and up is on
I feel
target.
Like Grandma Stormbanger's gonna have to walk a while.
You, where in Angate would you like to arrive?
I would like to arrive at the... Well, sorry, the gate's broken. I forgot. So not at the gate. I can't quite remember. We kind of secured the top of the hill. No, we caved in the top of the hill, so not that part.
You caved in the bottom, the lower city. The upper city, sort of in the main market area, would be by the big temple. That area was all fine.
Oh, okay, sure. I'll plop down right by the big temple. There's no restrictions for magic in Angate, right?
Correct.
Yeah, okay, cool. That's fine.
There used to be, but that's not any longer. Y'all are in charge of Angate now. Great. You arrive. There's a few gasps, but it's late enough in the evening that there's not a lot of people around here. You know that Rogar was running things from both his ship and from the temple here, and so you're able to check in. Your sending stone now is working, and you're able to communicate with Rogar, get everything situated, and find some lodgings for the Eldris family.
You're all going to be set, right? Now, nobody's out of any money. You've got food. You can work if you need to.
I will be fine.
All right, good.
Tantor
Making sure.
says, I'll talk to this Rogar fellow. He'll get us some blacksmithing tools, and we'll get the whole family to work.
Oh, good job.
You can go with them and check on the robot.
That's a good point. Yeah, I could check in with Rogar.
Yeah.
What do I need to check in with him for?
Well, I don't know. You have a day.
You haven't given him an update
Okay,
in a couple
yeah.
months, so
Yeah, I haven't seen him. I can go give him a report. That's what I can do.
great. Excellent. So you do that. The rest of you, they get all your stuff loaded up and ready to go. Let's see. You guys didn't have any carts or horses. You don't have a lot of stuff to bring, so you're just leaving on foot in the night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why not?
Cool.
Unless my brother has any objections.
So out in the courtyard, Zavrin meets you there with, you see he's got 3 groups of a dozen mages behind him, and you can see that they're wearing their red robes, but underneath black, traveling robes, and he says, I think it'd be best if you didn't draw attention, so I have instructed the troops to keep themselves hidden for now.
Well, now we just look like a perfectly normal cult.
Precisely.
Quite respectable in these parts, from what I've seen.
And he says, best of luck in your war. I hope that you defeat the orcs and that they don't come across the mountains to the point where I have to deal with them. And
I do as well. They're difficult to trick. A little too stupid for that.
and he says, and once I have determined precisely how to save Azai with the amulet, I will, of course, invite you back to witness it. It should be momentous.
Thank you.
How close does he feel on that? Like range from 1 to 10. Like 10, like really close, basically about to nail it.
It could be a few
1,
months.
like.
It's going to be a while.
So, for an elf, yeah, pretty much got it.
Almost there. Yeah, pretty much.
Like, I just need a minute.
There. Overconfident. Okay. Well, I hope it works out for him.
All right.
It's not easy to get.
Cool. So, you begin your travels. The next day, Burnham is able to teleport back to where y'all are.
Yay!
If it was going to be an issue, I would have asked any of the mages if they had ever been to Angate, and they could go get him.
We could basically say, if there is a mishap, you've got lots and lots of days to keep trying, and eventually.
Yeah. Also, if
It
I'm
takes like a week.
the next day I can teleport twice. I just didn't have an 8th and a 7th level spell slot.
Yeah.
And
All right.
It takes like a
I'll be
week
fine.
to
By
get
myself, I'm
back.
fine.
So, at the average pace of 24 miles a day, on your 8th day, you pass through Telmar Hall. On your 12th day, you pass through Black Hallows. On your 17th day, you pass through Longdale. And on your 21st day is when you make it to Tristram, which is the first part where you're going to turn off to somewhere you have not previously traveled.
Where Diablo spawned, the dark beast in the depths of the dungeons beneath this land. Tristram. Oh, Tristram. Sorry, wrong town. We're fine.
And then you guys turn off to the west, and on your 31st day of travel, 30.8 days, you arrive in Jezero. So for a while, you've been traveling alongside of this massive, massive lake. Actually, you guys, the viewers, everyone can see it in the top right there, in the map.
That's big.
It's a big lake. You very much cannot see the other side of it. It's like a sea. Yeah, like the Great Lakes kind of scale. Yeah. And eventually, as you turn the corner around here, you see this beautiful, shining, splendorific city on the coast. There's you see a river flowing from the mountains to the north. These very, very tall and big and high mountains. Various rivers flowing down there. They all come to form one large river that this city is built around that flows in and into this lake. For those of you who are actually from the Forgotten Realms, which would just be Theo and Eridan and Koros, Burnham's not from the Forgotten Realms. Lily's
I know about
peanut
Jezero.
gallerying over there.
They sometimes call it the Jewel of the East.
Jezero reminds y'all from the Forgotten Realms of Waterdeep.
Of where? Sorry?
Waterdeep.
Okay.
Is this where Randy Haversack actually lives?
Because this is the alternate universe version of Dirk Courage.
Yeah. Or rather, is in a shallow grave somewhere.
Yep. This would be where he lives. Is there anything y'all would like to do or pick up in Jezero before we continue onward?
I think I need anything.
I would like to try to find a holy symbol that is actually of Ilmater rather than the Morning Lord. Because
Yeah.
I assume I took Eridan's.
Absolutely.
And maybe
There are in the temple district here. There are temples of varying sizes and shapes to every deity you've ever heard of, and then some.
Okay, in that case, I would love to pray at the temple of Ilmater also.
Yeah, you find the temple to Ilmater is on the smaller side. But you find it. There are some folks there. They're basically tending to the downtrodden. Right? They're essentially like a homeless shelter. Is what their temple is.
Have
I'll do
I ever been to a city this big?
What?
Yeah, you've been to Waterdeep.
That's true.
Yeah, I'll do some
And a
other
die.
simple. I'll do a few little lay on hands and also just some praying.
Excellent.
Uh,
What kind of holy symbol are you looking for? Describe it to me.
I'm looking for so Irina has she has like her cloak, and for a while on her cloak her clasp was the bound hands,
Mm-hmm.
like as holding them together, and so was using that. So something like that would work, or like I like the symbol of the bound hands. So if she could find just like a token to hold would work, or even just like a small piece of like a pendant or some form of jewelry.
Yeah.
Anything.
You can find any and all of those. They've got
Okay.
a variety. So take your pick.
Yeah, I'll grab the clasp for the cloak and something to hold.
All right.
Just a
Cool.
physical
The something to hold is like a little. It's like basically like a paperweight. The hands are like sticking up out of like a little pedestal, so you can like set it down and
Perfect.
carry it.
I wonder if the dragon holds have like cool insignia.
For the various tribes, yeah. There's all sorts
Yeah.
of tribal insignia and symbology.
Because I would like one for me, for my clan, my dragonborn hold.
Yeah, you're able to find an area, a quarter of the city, with a it's Dragon Town, right? You can go get some dragonborn food, and you don't find exactly your clan symbol, but there's a few places where you could just have one commissioned, like, and it wouldn't take that long.
I would just have one commissioned real fast, and I'll think about what it is.
Yeah.
And I put that on whatever.
Absolutely. Anything else anyone wants to do in Jezero, the big city?
I would like to. Well, can I ask a question about before we get to Jezero? What are the mages like when we travel with them?
They have been mostly quiet. Anytime you've needed to communicate with them, Hey there. We can't hear you.
Can we say Quoro shows up now? Oh no. Sorry, I thought Bobby had just joined.
Oh no, that would be.
No, Koros did a bad spell, and now there's 2 Baronums and 2 arenas.
It was only like that for like a day or two.
All right. The mages, they've been mostly quiet, and just keeping to themselves. You do notice that, like, at the beginning of each day in the morning, if you ever wake up early, you see that they are doing this ritual. The first of 12 for each of the groups takes out this from just like a pocket dimension space, this chest. They all exchange. There's some sort of rites, like rites that they go through, and then he hands the Hygelon Dark to each of them. Other than that, we still can't hear you, Brandon. Other than that, 2 through 12 don't ever speak to you directly. Only the first of each company.
Odd.
They communicate for the group.
Okay. Okay, I'm gonna skip over. I was just curious what that was like, what that culture was like. The Jezero stuff, I would like to sample as many of the local ales as possible in a drinking/walking contest with Baranum and my brother, if possible.
Sounds good.
I feel like Baranum would agree to that. He's not here, but I just feel like that would happen.
He can hear you. Baranum, thumbs up. Drinking ales. Drinking lots of ales. Yep, there you go.
Good, great, yeah. with me, drinking contest. We should do con rolls to see who wins. But anyway.
The dwarf wins.
Be real, come on. My con is, what, 20? Yeah, my con's better than his. Anyway.
Dwarf has a resistance to poison.
Fair enough. And then the other thing that I want to do, like, slightly more seriously is, I'd rather if Alex was here for this, but, like, asking Aaron to be like, a lot of temples here, like, we're about to go to war. I feel like we should hedge our bets, make offerings at all of them. And so I want to go to, like, all the temples and make, like, little offerings of, like, a plat each or something like that.
At each and every temple? A plat
Yes.
each?
Yeah, why not?
There are dozens, like, if not hundreds of temples in the Temple District of varying shapes and sizes.
Go to all the smallest temples. Like the tiniest one-room downtrodden ones, and leave a plat.
I don't know. Jake, tell me how many temples there are. Like,
I can hear you. You're very soft, Brandon.
Okay, we have a crappy microphone. Sorry.
There you
Oh,
go.
that's fine.
It just
No, I
the
can
game
hear
just
you.
kicked up.
Her thing's starting to work.
Cool.
No, it's good. Jake, just make up a number on how many temples.
For like actually the number of temples in Jezero,
Yeah, like, I don't know, roll 3d12 or something, or 8d12, I don't care. Like, make a number for me.
of the ones that you can find easily, let's say there are, like, you like get a list. There's like a tourist list, and the ones that are on the list, there are like 70 or 80.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
So, if I gave a gold to each, that'd be only 8 plat.
It'd be a little more reasonable, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Alright, I'll give a gold to each, and that's 8 plat.
So you're gonna go around and just
Give a gold and everything. Let everybody give me their spiel and go to all the temples.
Buy them all a house.
There's probably pubs between each temple anyway. That's probably how we're doing the drinking game.
you're like going around the edge of the temple district where all the bars are like just on the other side of the district.
Yeah.
Zoning rules are like you can't have one in there, so like they're all butted up against it.
Exactly. So you do a little excursion through a couple temples, and then you come back out and zigzag for a couple
No,
pubs.
come on.
And then...
Monks love to brew. Every single one of these temples has their own ale.
I would like to sample all of those.
Some of these temples have their own ales. Certain temples, they're a bit more prudish and are not into it. Only sacramental wines, that sort of thing.
No Trappists.
Are we back?
We're back. Sorry about that. My laptop overheated.
No worries. We're talking about temples and pubs and...
Yeah.
Great.
Feel very
Cool, so
much
go ahead and mark that off. Since you have a lot of gods on your side now, I'm going to give you some inspiration for that.
Alright.
Dice.
All of us, or just me and Aaron?
Just you, Theo.
Alright.
I propose that we name the 3 companies gold, silver, and copper companies.
Mm-hmm.
And then give them like just a subtle little like chain epaulet of the same metal to distinguish them.
What do the rest of y'all think?
I like that. A gold company, iron company, platinum company, maybe a few gemstone companies for the flashy
Just
ones.
pick. We just we pick the three metals for our mages, and then do that.
We can call them the bronze company.
The bronze company?
That sounds better.
Didn't we meet a bronze company?
No, you met the Golden Empire.
Mm.
So you're going to have a gold company, silver company, bronze company?
I'm fine with that, but any 3 combinations of metal is fine.
All right. Cool. You can get little chains that are, if not gold, they are that color.
They don't need to be legal. They just need to look like that.
Yeah.
They're brass, but
You didn't want to be the ass company. I'm sorry, brass company.
Oh, poor brass company.
All right, cool. You get all those things squared away, and you are ready to continue westward to Rokai. From what you hear, the travel through the pass, through the mountains, is a bit not treacherous, but just difficult. So you steel yourselves for that, and it's another 13 days through the pass. So you zigzag your way along the edge of the lake, and then eventually you're in the foothills, and then through this narrow pass between the sides of these tall mountains as you cross the Dragon Spine Mountains. As you the days when you were coming on the other side of the Dragon Spine Mountains, you find that you're able to make contact with Rogar again with your sending stones.
oh, nice.
Like it's everyone but Arena, because Arena doesn't have one anymore.
Are we going through the mountains, through a pass, or do we have to climb over them?
You're going through the pass through the mountains.
Oh
Your
yeah, other arena has the sending stone.
Yeah, your elevation is still quite high. The way the Dragonspine Mountains basically are a huge elevation drop from east to west. East is raised up where that big old lake is. This is actually a very high elevation lake, and most of West Azemar is much lower. So some of the pass is uphill at the beginning, but actually a lot of it is downhill. Until eventually you come around, and let me pull up my map to confirm exactly. Yeah. Until you are traveling along this massive cliff face, like thousands of feet tall cliff face. And this road travels sometimes closer to it, sometimes further from it. And this road continues to travel west.
I stay as far away from the cliff as I can. I don't like heights.
Until...
Look, I'm only 3 feet off the ground. It never looks very high from here. You get as tall as you, and already it's too much.
So you don't like standing on tables?
No.
Even when you're drunk?
If I'm drunk and dancing, it's all right. But then I kind of forget where the ground is, if you ask me.
Until at the end of, it is, I believe, 43 and a half days total of travel from Isik to Rokai. And you
So glad I
arrive...
took that bath.
What?
I'm so glad I took that bath.
And you arrive in the city of Rokai. Here's a sketch, and everything is way too light for y'all to see any of it, so never mind. Rokai is situated at this narrow point where this lake, up high here on top of the cliffs, comes right up to near the edge of the cliff, but doesn't quite reach it, and then Rokai is smack dab between the lake on one side and the cliff on the other side. From the side you're coming from, there's these tall walls, city walls, blocking your view, but it looks like those walls are very old and in disrepair. There are parts where they're just sort of open, where old gates used to be and things, and the city is sort of spilled out from the walls, and there's lots of city outside of it and along the trail here. You can see to the south, really, there is a giant waterfall coming off the cliff face.
Ooh, ah.
So let me see if I can get this a little better. So the lake is up here. That's the lake. Then there's these essentially two sets of walls that come around, and then you can see there's sort of like a little river delta thing here, and then cliff and giant waterfall.
Cool.
All right.
Yeah. So you guys arrive in the city of Rokai. As you come into the city, you are surprised. Unlike all the other places you visited, where there was, you definitely saw some guards around. Some people asked you, where you were coming to and from as you came in the city, that sort of thing. Just standard sort of making sure, looking for criminals, that sort of thing. Nothing like that in Rokai. In fact, as you come in through these main gates, through this sort of broken hole in the wall that's not even really a gatehouse anymore, it's like. It's when you're landing. It's like when you're trying to come back into the States from Mexico, and there's just people on all sides trying to sell you things, and like big lines of people, and just super crowded. It's like that. There's stalls up here. There's people with like carts rolling around selling things. It's like total chaos here. There's these large groups of beggars going around and asking for money or food or all sorts of things. It's quite chaotic here.
It's not exactly Selenay, is it?
I suppose not, but hopefully we won't have a coup in this one.
That.
And as you come into the city through the gates, you find that the city isn't very tall here. The buildings don't go up very far. There are a few towers here and there. But actually, you find there's lots of places where the city goes down underground. Even just like public walkways, the stairs go down and around. Buildings going deeper and having levels below the ground. And as you sort of come around and see, so where this delta is coming out here, you realize that the river to the north of that is actually underground.
Cool.
The way that the water gets from the lake out to the cliff face. And that there is a bunch of city that sort of sticks out of the cliff face down here.
That's cool.
That a lot of the, you learn that a lot of the nobility has, or not even nobility, because there's not really they're not really formal nobles, just the richer merchants have these hanging mansions that hang off the sides of the cliff face down there.
Dwarven engineering at its finest.
Yeah, as far as if you guys ask around, as far as you can tell, Rokai is very, very old. No one's really sure who built it. But Burnham, you're sure it's the dwarves. Who else?
Who else? I told you, towers, indoor towers, inverted towers inside of mountains, things like that. Those mansions are nothing.
How hard is it to find like the palace or place of administration?
Yeah, so you start asking around, and people like give you funny looks. And you start to gather that there is no formal government here. There's not a palace. There's not a city administration. It's sort of anything goes here. You find that like there are some rich merchants who hire their own private guard and things to protect them and their businesses. But it's
Well, then I would like to find the wealthiest merchants. Is there some sort of trade federation, a cabal?
Yeah. Let's see.
Someone influential.
Yeah, you can get. Let me pull up. Where's my big old list of names so I can pull some names out for you.
Big list of names.
List o names. Here it is. Yes. All right. So, Meldon Cindergloom, Morverk Gortide, and Cobblebask.
I like Cindergloom. That's such a good name.
Do they have funny named businesses as well?
You're asking me to come up with a lot of names.
Like Laughing Owlbear Foods and
Yes.
like silly stuff. Cool. I don't need to go.
It's like industrial sort of stuff here. So there's manufacturing, there's packaging of food from the east to be delivered, or food from the west to be delivered east.
I would like to see if I can get an audience with one of whoever is available and explain our plight.
Okay.
Very good.
So are you going to show up at their residence or their place of business, or?
We'll start with place of business.
All right. So
That
we'll
would
go
be
to
weird.
Laughing Owlbear Foods.
Nice.
Um,
I bet they have a really cute mascot.
So
Probably an owlbear.
like out front, they've got this like this jolly owlbear that's like head back in laughter and looks super happy, and it looks super nice. And then you go up to the door, and you open it, and the inside is like almost the polar opposite of the outside. The outside looked nice and shiny and really well kept. The inside is sort of dingy and ratty, and like hasn't been cleaned in a long time. And there's like a receptionist who's asleep at the desk. Hey, it's Bobby.
Bobby. But no. Oh my god.
And Koros is just sitting at the reception desk taking a nap. No,
No, yeah, Koro should totally be here.
What's good, fam?
hey,
hey.
everybody, this is Bobby. He plays Koros. Let me fill you in on what happened. Y'all got kicked out of Azai, and we were gonna get arrested for doing magic and stuff. And Zavrin's like, "You guys have made this complicated for me, but we'll just get you out of here quickly. Here's your 3 companies of 12 mages. Get the fuck out of here."
Pretty much.
You guys traveled. It's been 43 days of travel to reach Rokai, the city on the edge. A city basically wedged between, is on one edge is these massive 1,000-foot cliffs. On the other side, a big old lake.
What's your
And we
coin
were
purse?
not in Rokai before, right?
You've not been to Rokai before. You're
Name
taking
sounds familiar. Okay.
the shorter path home because you don't need to go to Selene or Tartosha this time.
Right.
You also passed through Jezero, which is the big city similar to Waterdeep, for those of you from the Forgotten Realms. So if there's any city business you want to take care of, you can have done that.
Okay. I
Nadam,
can't think of anything.
cool. Nadam is going to go try and meet with one of these nobles.
Merchant nobles.
Merchant nobles. Yeah, they're not even really nobles. They're just like really rich people. This city doesn't really have much law.
I go up to the receptionist and I say I'd like to meet with what's it?
Sorry. Hi.
Pleasure, Nadam Nazir.
Welcome to Laughing Owlbear Foods, where the happy owl.
You don't have to do it. It's all right. I'll say you did.
Oh my god.
Okay.
And I say,
What do you want?
What's the guy's name that I found out? Who runs the Over
You are looking for Meldon Cindergloom.
I need to speak with Melder Cindergloom. It's urgent.
Oh, sorry. You're serious.
Before he like I don't even let him do that. I just like throw a couple gold on the table. And I'm like, I mean it.
All right. And he takes the gold and he's like, I'd like to meet with him too, but it's a little beyond my pay grade.
And he's like, all right, who can I talk to?
I don't know. There's probably a foreman on duty.
I go find a foreman.
And you start walking back. He's actually, you're not supposed to go back there.
I don't care.
You
That's
go
what
back
the 2
there,
gold was for.
and it's essentially it's a factory. They're packaging food here of various kinds, and it's all so you see all sorts of people that are grubby and covered in soot and oil, like managing these things and checking them and moving one thing from another, and
I am Nadam Nazir. No door is closed to me. Employees only. That doesn't mean me.
it's Upton Sinclair's The Jungle in here.
Great.
Uh,
Oh damn.
And
Sounds freaky.
you see it's got this, this classic, like, there's these stairs that go up to this, like, office with these big windows, and you see there's a angry-looking foreman up there looking down at the work.
I go
measuring
right up to
productivity.
the angry-looking foreman.
He's got a big old cigar in his teeth, and oh wait,
Drops it.
hey, who are you? What are you doing here?
Nadam Nazir.
Did that fool in the front let you in?
And I said, yes, he did.
Here we go.
Although I didn't really ask. High advisor to the General Theoden and Eridan Eldris of the West Azemar Army.
Ah, you're those folks from Angate. We don't want none of that Angate stuff. We're happy to trade with you, but the orcs make it hard these days.
Lucky for you, I don't really want to talk to you. I want to talk to your boss.
Well, you're not gonna find him here.
But I found you, and I'm making it your problem.
Yeah, this doesn't sound like my problem. This sounds like it's still your problem. I've got work to do. Ah!
Throw a gold on the
Get
table.
back to work! Go faster! He's shouting out the...
I throw a gold on the table.
He goes, that might change things a bit. How much are we talking?
So I've never gotten a good handle on how much a gold is worth in this world.
Yeah.
Like,
Probably
is that
about
a
10
lot
times
of
as much as a
money?
silver.
Is it a reasonable amount of money?
A gold is a lot of money, but this guy seems well dressed.
Okay, so this guy seems like he's got some. He's a man of means.
Yes. Let me...
I'm probably
the
the
thing-
third person to bribe him today.
Right. Okay, so hold on. The best way to do this is we look at the... Where'd it go? Lifestyle expenses. So, modest lifestyle expenses is a gold piece per day. So that's, like, housing... That's rent and food and everything you need. So, like if someone made, like, what? So, 300, 40, like, 500 gold a year... Right, like that would be like a middle class wage, right? You spend a lot more than half of it on your living expenses.
I pull out like a little handful, and then I'm just looking at him, and I just slowly like push one out of my hand and let it clink on the table, and then another one, and then another one, and then another one, until there's about 5, and then I pause and look at him expectantly.
He says, "All right,
I just need to get in a room with him and talk.
He says, "Well, he's
I could, yeah, like, and then I say, or I could just leave town with my money, and you could miss out on this opportunity.
He says, "If you want to double that, I can tell you where he is."
I put a total, so instead of 5, I put a total of 12 on the table, and I say, he better be there.
Oh, he's there, all right. He pulls out a little. He pulls out this little baggie and reaches in and plucks out a stone from it and sets it on the table. It's just a simple-looking stone with just a rune carved in the top of it. And he says, "You're gonna want to take this to his manor on the edge," and he describes like the nth level and the 4th column, like how to get there, because you got to go underground and then out. And he says, "That'll get you in through the gate. Beyond that, you'll have to talk to the constructs. They're not much for talking, but they're his protection, his staff, everything there. He's the only human you'll find in the place."
Thank you very much. I do that.
Cool.
Anyone who wants to go with me can go with me.
Sure. I'll come.
I'm actually not clear who this guy is we're looking for, but I'm here for the group.
I'm here to talk to a rich, powerful merchant in the hope of convincing them to help us with this whole orc thing.
Word.
I'm thinking exclusive right to supply our troops with food?
In exchange.
Big fat contract?
All right.
Just in exchange for I won't make a deal with anyone else in Rokai.
All right. You gather the whole party together, and you start making your way. Where are you guys gonna leave the mages behind, or take them with you, or what's the? You've got a 36.
Time outside, they can graze.
I instruct Bronze Company to give us 3 mages to make us extra official, and just in case we need them, and everyone else to make themselves scarce until we call for them.
Okay.
And the mages wear specific, they're obviously mages, right? Everybody knows when mages walk around in the Empire.
Well, they could just disguise self.
They're wearing these black cloaks to cover, but anyone who gets close can tell.
No,
Yeah.
I mean I want them to know who they are.
We
We want them to look official, right? So we want it to be obvious that we're coming with the mages from the circle.
Oh, sure, we can do that. Too.
Yes, everyone was saying basically until you're past Jezero, you should keep it on the down low.
Oh,
but
okay.
you're past Jezero
Cool.
now,
And
so
Then let's do it.
Yeah, there's Rokan.
I would like
Because
some of
it's
them to come with us, and so we're not rolling up with 36 people. The rest should just be ready when we need them.
all right. You get 3rd, 6th, and 9th of 12 in Bronze Company.
Those were the nicest. I liked them.
Please.
And they are all their tattoos today and everything indicate that they are utility casters today. So they've got an assortment of things because you haven't asked them to specialize.
That's what I'm after today.
All right.
Make sure you all watch your coin purses, your components pouches. You never know when the children around here want to come snatch something off you. And poof! Suddenly they've cast fireball in accident. It's horrible.
Has that happened to you before?
No.
I don't believe you.
Well,
Do
I did
believe
it.
you? Do I believe you?
I did it.
I definitely don't believe you.
She got a 20.
So yeah, we
It happened to me. I happened to somebody.
Cool. So you head underground and down these stairs and through these passages, and there's all sorts of different passages and openings in here. There's lots of really cool levels to this city until you come out of a hallway and out onto this. It's essentially just like a what's the word for it? Sticks out of the cliff. A little landing.
Cliff house?
Sorry, what'd you say, Lincoln?
a balcony,
Yeah, sort of, but it's not man-made. It's
shelf.
a shelf in the cliff face. Yeah. Can I help you? All right. So, you head down there, and there's you come out this hallway. You're out on this shelf, and then there's these stone walls that sort of form this this fence around. You can see the manor sticking up on this shelf, and you see that on the top of the door of this gatehouse, there's this gem that looks like an eyeball. And as you guys get a bit closer, it turns and looks at you.
Ooh.
I nod to it.
Hello, eyeball.
What's this dude? Never mind. I already know this one.
I go up to the gate.
You all are here, so you go up to the gate. The eyeball looks down at you. It's just following you.
Cool.
So is it like made out of rock? Is it like an actual gem?
It looks like it's like a gemstone, yeah. And it's in the top of this gate. There's very clearly these doors, and then there's sort of like an archway over it, and then in the center of that archway over the doors, this big gemstone.
Is it like a true seeing eye or something? Could I recognize it?
You want to give me an Arcana check?
Sure.
Yeah, let's see if we're walking into a beholder trap.
I don't think the beholder wouldn't need one. I think they can already do true seeing.
I'm pretty sure that they have eyes around that they like
Oh, yeah?
report back.
Okay.
Yeah, well, at least in water deep. So.
Well, I assume there's like a...
15. Yeah, Baronum, you think this is certainly magical, some sort of construct. It probably has true seeing.
Okay.
Oh,
But I don't know exactly what it is.
That's what would make sense.
Okay, cool. It's just a lookout. Don't worry. None of you are hiding anything, right? Koros, they're going to be able to see you just fine, you goat.
Irina's scar is seen through by true
Thanks.
seeing, but
You furry bastard.
I'm not sure what I did to
I
deserve
wonder if
that.
it can see my crippling fear of letting my family down. And I go to whatever sort of bell, pull chain, magical
nothing.
device to... No way to, like, say hello, I am here, I'd like to come in.
Doors are smooth.
Just rudely poke it in the eye.
You knock. No response.
Ding, ding, ding. You there?
I say to the eye that I have a extremely lucrative business proposition for... what's his name?
The master of this household.
Meldon Cindergloom.
For Mr. Cindergloom.
Master of this
One
estate.
which I do not have time to repeat, and will likely take to a competitor if I can't meet with him.
Hold up the stone thingy.
And I pulled up the stone thingy.
All right. It has no response to your speaking. The second you hold up the stone, the gates slide open.
Oh, all right. Then I go inside.
If I like do this, does the eye react?
The eye at this point has, after you hold up the stone, it looked at it for a second, the door's open, and then the eye just went back up to looking in the distance.
Oh. Weird.
Suppose we should enter?
As you enter, you see on the other side of the door there are two of these. They're like blade constructs. They're these tall, skinny things, like those things in Dishonored that walk around and.
Oh, yeah.
That's cool.
Right, they got all they're very sharp, lots of blades on them, skinny and tall, and they're just sort of flanking either side of the door on the other side here.
I don't like this at all.
It's a bad city. You need some guards.
Do they make any aggressive moves if I try to go in further?
They do not.
Cool. Well, then I don't mess with them.
I'll whisper to Nadam, be like, don't piss this guy off. I don't want to get shredded.
I thought you were already shredded, Theo.
You go through this nice garden. There's some fountains and flowers around. It's really a very nice front of house here. Until you come to the front doors of the estate, and as you approach them, they open, and you see there's this like twitching, like popping and moving, this clockwork butler. He's just sort of like twitching a little bit and moving. Every once in a while, there's like a pop and a little bit of smoke comes out of an exhaust pipe.
Like TikTok.
Yeah.
Of course.
And he says, "Welcome to the Cindergloom estate. May I take your coats?"
No, thank you. I doubt we'll be here very long, and I don't have a coat. And I
Mine
say, I'm
grows
here
for
to
me.
see. I'm here to see the master of the house.
He says, "You are expected. I will take your coats."
I don't have a coat to give him, but I'll.
If he really wants to take our coat,
Anyone have a coat?
I do. I have a cloak. A dope
That
cloak.
works.
I'll ask him what he thinks of it. I'm like, do you like my cloak?
He says, "I will take your cloak," and he reaches
Oh.
out again.
It is a very fine cloak, he says, not apparent if you can see or not.
Do you hand him your cloak, Theo?
Yeah, sure.
All right, cool. He takes the cloak.
I'll give him mine.
Anyway, yeah, he takes everyone's cloaks and hangs them up on the wall, and then that door, like the things, they slide around to behind the wall, and there's a new set of cloak hooks. And he says,
Yeah.
"Your weapons, please."
I comply.
He takes the sword. He sets it. Basically,
Just picture the scene from Lord of the Rings where it's like 10 minutes.
yep. The on the wall, basically, just a bin slides out of the side of the wall, and he sets the weapons in there. Everybody's weapons in the bin.
Careful, it might explode.
What might explode?
The mundane axe that I give him.
He holds it very carefully and sets it down very softly. And then once it's done, he turns around and that bin slides back into the wall. And he says, "This way, please."
All right.
I follow.
And he leads you through a second set of doors into this wide atrium with all sorts of interesting inventions lining the walls. Just various sorts of, you can see like stages of clockwork machines that he's made, or early models or things. They're in like glass cases and things around the walls. And this clockwork butler sort of rolling around leads you. He's sort of zigzagging a bit and leads you down here to the far side of the room and through another set of doors.
So many doors.
Yeah, into this large circular room. And he says, "Please be seated." And there's just sort of seats around. It's like just a circular sitting room. Everything's sort of facing the center. There's nice chairs and couches and things around.
That's nice and homey.
Quite.
He says, "Please make yourself comfortable. Would you like anything to drink? Drink?
Yeah, you got like iced tea or something?
Iced tea. Anyone else?"
Sure.
I ask for like something easy.
Iced tea.
I'm good, thank you.
He rolls off through a different doorway, and then you guys are all sort of sitting here for a little while. You can hear things moving and shifting in the distance, almost like that movement you saw in the like where the cloaks spun around or that bin came out of the wall. That's just sort of happening around the house in other places. And then eventually, after a little while, the lights in this room dim. And then, like straight up, like Oz style, this giant illumination of a head appears floating in the center of the room above everything.
It's the Wizard of Oz.
You're a
Hey,
big
Nadam.
fella, aren't ya?
And he
Real
says,
quick question, and don't take this the wrong way, Nadam, but what the shit?
Agree.
Where have you brought us?
"I am Meldon Cindergloom, lord of this house, and I hear you have a business opportunity for me. It's not often that someone brings mages into my house."
Don't worry. They're not for you.
Their housebroken.
Just one of the mages chuckle.
The mages are stone-faced.
They're like, this was guard, dude.
I've never had mages before. They're kind of fun to bring around.
And they are not sitting either. They're like standing
Oh, no,
behind
I wouldn't
you
let
in
them
the
sit.
seats.
I would tell them to stand back up. I say, we're representatives of the West Azemaran Empire, the human army, as well as its allied dwarven army, the Free City of Selene.
Yes, I'm familiar with your cause and who you are.
Well, then here is my proposal. I won't waste any more of your time. We have a large army that needs feeding, and you have access to a lot of food.
That I do.
We'd love to make a deal.
He says, I would as well, but you know that the Emperor's paying quite the sum to keep his people fed, especially in these last 100 years. With Kuaya and the deserts, demand has only increased.
Are you saying you have no surplus? You're totally tapped out.
I'm saying that the Empire is paying me quite well for any surplus that I produce.
This bitch trying to hardball you, man.
I'm here to negotiate.
He says, make
I'm
me an offer.
Uh,
Well, let's get a starting point. How much is the Empire currently paying you?
Dude, he could lie. Sorry, out of character. He could lie.
Well, I can see if I think he's lying.
And he
I
says,
wanted to just do it
yo.
in narrative terms so that we don't have to like do math on the economy of Azemar right now.
Word up.
it's a lot. The crown is very rich and can afford, has basically been like paying much more than this food is worth, and has been for decades.
Do we believe him about whatever number he gives us?
You can give me insight checks.
Okay. Well, that rolled off the table.
You suck.
That's a 3.
Roll 2.
24. What? I already changed it back.
Insight? Oh, wait, I don't have to do it typing style.
All right, so
Wait, I rolled 2.
great. Theo and Nadam, here's what you gather. The numbers he's talking about, he doesn't seem to be lying about the numbers. The Empire is paying him quite handsomely for these things. But you get the sense that he doesn't really like dealing with the Empire, right? Like there's always this there's this friction, right? He creates these constructs, and they're clearly magical in design, and we all know how the Empire feels about magic. He also, right? He lives here in Rokai, where there's this sort of a city of lawlessness, right? And the Empire is all about its rules and regulations. So
Tell him about our plan for universal chaos. I mean freedom.
I tell him our plan to. I sort of sigh and I say, I don't have a lot of. I will say that those currently part of our little coalition have no interest in rejoining the Empire.
Sorry.
you get
I can offer you only the opportunity to do business with a group much more amenable to magical trade,
Open-minded.
a open-minded group, one where you'll have much more of a seat at the table as far as rules and regulations go. And also, I must say, though your home is lovely, we cannot stay here all day. We are running late as it is, and I have a couple other stops to make.
He says, I'll put it plainly. If you're willing to pay me a premium above what the Empire will pay me, I can make you a deal here. But I will not take the liability for shipments damaged or taken by orcs.
Of
Dang,
course,
I'll
it's
listen.
war.
Not
Rokai is surrounded to the south. Any travel down the cliffs will be besieged by orcs. It will be very difficult. You will have to provide protection for these transports if you wish them to make it to their destinations.
I say we'll handle all the logistics. I simply want from you an agreement that if we come with that price, with that gold, you'll have food for us.
Right then, the robot comes in, and it's got the iced tea,
Oh, great.
and it starts going around, and like it's got like a tray, and it leans down for you to take a glass, and if you do, he pours it, and then he goes over, and the tray has run out of glasses, and he's going over to the mages, and he waits for them to take a glass. They don't, and then it just starts pouring the iced tea where the glass would be.
You know, if you could get a few mages into this city, you could maybe make some better constructs, better servers. In fact, with this city on the edge of the Empire as it is, it might be that you could even protest the will of the Empire with that magic. And this seems like a city that one who is ambitious could get far ahead with if they had just a little bit of help.
And he
Perhaps
says,
military help.
"Are you offering
This
me?
solution here is not monetary.
Are you offering me arcane mages of my own?"
What do you guys think?
At least-
I didn't discuss this with anybody.
Didn't we do this one already? Have we already
I
caused enough coups?
I say, like I said,
Well,
we're
that
here
city
to
is
negotiate.
established. This one is chaos.
Like we said, we're here to negotiate. And I say, but for now, just the food. A place at the table after the war is over.
And he says, "I can have the numbers drawn up and sent to you, but I worry that you won't like them very much."
I don't like fighting a war very much, but I'll make do.
And then you hear, he's clearly talking into some sort of magical microphone thing that does this head projection thing.
Yeah.
You hear it sounds like distant and it's sort of strange in this room. And he turns and he says, "Oh no, that's not good." And he says, "I'm afraid you must be leaving."
If you insist.
How do we get out?
We turn around and we walk out.
Yeah,
If
no,
we
no.
turn, like,
I immediately
17
get up. I
different-
don't want to bother this guy.
The droid the butler comes in, just like drops the iced tea, it crashes to the ground. And he says, "This way," and he like starts rolling much more quickly than before out the door.
Uh-oh.
That doesn't sound
That
good.
way.
What's waiting out there for us?
And he says, "More of the problems that I was just talking about. Now I must be going." The lights come back up, the head fades.
Yeah, no,
Alright, let's
I've
get outta
already
here.
gone to like freaking coat room area. Do our
Um,
coats swing out?
As you come
No,
out, yeah, the
remember-
coats swing out, in fact, so quickly that some of them fall on the ground. The bin like opens and like almost like throws your weapons out. Like everything is trying to get you out of here quickly.
All right, let's fast as we can.
Yeah, let's grab our stuff and go.
Yep.
All right, you go, you leave, you go out the gates. The gates shut quickly behind you, and then you see like basically like from the sides of the walls, these like large pieces of stone and concrete are like, or not concrete, stone are coming up on these giant arms and like closing. He's sealing in his mansion here, and
my.
as you all are sort of exiting the gates and coming over to this sort of cliff's edge here in this shelf, before you on your way back to the doors, you see exactly what it is that he was concerned about. There's this. You hear it, or almost feel it. This rumbling beneath your feet. Almost the whole cliff almost just vibrating, shaking the slightest bit. And as you come to the edge of the cliff and look down, like 1,000 feet below you, you see a massive orcish army. Their feet stomping and rumbling. You see among their rank not just orcs, you see various other large creatures, trolls, ogres, but even these even stranger creatures. You recognize them, Koros, you recognize them as demons.
Ooh, fun.
Large, powerful beasts from the abyss.
Super great.
Demons?
I want to fight some demons.
Do I see stuff that can fly?
There
Probably not,
are
because Rokai hasn't been taken.
There are a few things that are flying, but they're still flying low by where the army is. They're not flying up this way yet, but they are clearly preparing.
To attack the city?
That's what it looks like.
Do we have a sense of their numbers? We can send class teacher out and like swoop down. And
Jake is bad at numbers, but lots.
Is it the kind of number we could help with or not?
Like Battle of Helm's Deep.
Okay.
So
no.
we can go after the leaders, and that's it.
I would say I have the impulse to try out our artillerists and see what that looks like.
I agree.
But I'd also rather not just reveal that we have mages.
But I also don't want to lose Rokai because that's going to be our breadbasket if we can save it.
I agree.
How many mages do we have if we can get them to us right now?
I think all of them.
You've got 3 dozen mages.
Okay, hey, that's enough to take out these bitches. Let's just get everybody here and rain down hellfire on these.
Has anyone else in Rokai seem to have responded to this event?
You see, well, I mean, so you guys aren't in the city, right? City proper right now. You're down on this shelf on this mansion, so...
Right.
I think it's better to reveal that we have mages, not lose our source of food, and potentially use that us saving their city as a bargaining chip for better prices than just abandoning it.
You
I
see
still
there.
think that
Win some goodwill.
you see that
I still
the...
think we should. Sorry.
The orcs have been there. You see on the river, basically, there's this big waterfall and then this river that flows south away from Rokai. You see there's a few large ships on the river that are coming in, and that's where the orcs are coming from.
Well, we could probably mess up some ships.
I say, gold leader.
Yeah.
I call up gold 1.
He's not here.
Well, I tell one of the mages to send a sending. Get all the mages here.
Down here on this cliff, sir.
I mean, or we can go up there. I would like to see what your artillery research can do, and this seems like an excellent opportunity.
All right. Here or there, sir? You were unclear.
You tell me. I don't know what your capabilities are.
We can set up the artillery anywhere with a open ceiling.
Well, then let's go to the city.
All right. After you, sir.
We go.
All right. That was third of 12 who was talking to you.
Cool.
I tell third of 12 to have first of gold and everyone else meet us up there. I just feel like first of gold is like the one who I talk to most often.
All right.
He's kind of technically in charge.
Cool. Everybody heads back up the stairs and into the city. Once you guys get into the city proper and around the city, you see that there's some people clearly aren't aware yet. Like there's these large walls in the city. Like people haven't. They've noticed the rumbling and there's some confusion. But in other parts of the city you pass through, you can see there's a bit of chaos starting to happen. People grabbing things, running to their homes. No one's really sure what this means.
I say
Either
we make a
get worked.
bold stand. Yeah, let's just do this shit.
Let's go find a nice spot where we can observe the impact of the artillery, and I tell them to set up.
All right, when you get up there, you see that the company is all running over to you. They've already ditched the black cloaks, and they're in their brilliant red cloaks with the...
And he said we
The
should keep
insignia hanging
hidden
up there.
past Jezro, but now we're like 2 weeks past Jezro, right?
Correct. And he pulls you around and says, Gold, First of Gold Company says, Sir, I've identified 2 locations that could be excellent artillery areas to set up the mortars as you requested. They're basically, I'll show you on here. So at the mouth of this delta, right where the river comes out from underground and starts forming this delta, there's like a open like market area.
Mhm.
And he says that should be clear enough and open enough. Alternatively, on this island between the rivers, there's a large open area and a cathedral, which we could set up on their roofs or balconies and have
I
a
say,
more direct shot.
I say, which is the best for hitting those ships they're coming off of?
For
I
the
believe You
ships.
said they were ships.
Yes.
One moment, sir, and he you see clearly casts some sort of spell. His eyes roll back, and he's like scrying or something like that.
Artillery scrying.
Arcane eye.
Yeah, arcane eye, something like that.
Arcane rangefinder.
And he says, "At the distance of those ships, sir, I'd recommend the cathedral."
Then I'll trust your judgment to the cathedral.
All right.
Set up there.
You all, his men are moving quickly with you, and he says, "Do you want us to go ahead, sir?"
Yeah.
Yes. Well, I'll meet you there.
Excellent. And he says, "It's the who's the? I need my list of gods. Who's the god of death? Kelimvor.
Elmore.
Kelimvor." He says, "We'll meet you at the Cathedral of Kelimvor, sir."
Cool.
Appropriate.
And he orders some things in Elvish to the men. They all cast some sort of spell, and they're flying now, going really fast. Not
Are they
literally
faster
flying, I
than
mean
me?
running very fast.
Show off.
Are they
It's
faster
just
than
a
me?
haste spell.
Even I can do that.
Are they faster than me?
I don't know.
It's
You make me do math?
No, you don't have to do math.
Nothing's faster than you. You break the speed of light like regularly.
Pretty much.
Yeah, they're going
Teleport
quite
faster
fast.
than you can run.
Cool. Well, I go pretty fast, and I meet them at the cathedral.
Cool. Everyone else?
I am going. We're still on the cliff, right?
You have gone back into the city and up to the city, or at least that's where Nadam and the mages were going. Y'all, the rest of you could do something else.
I'm going to stay at the cliff if I can. I might be able to help from here. I'm not like them. I can't lob bombs over walls and such. I need a line of sight.
I want to look over the troops and see if I can spot any demons, because those are going to be my targets.
This cliff balcony overlooks this river.
So you're
I'm struggling with the geography.
yeah, sorry. So there's this.
Me too.
So here's the city.
Yep.
Up there is lake. This is a
Yep.
cliff's edge.
Yep.
There's this underground river that goes from the lake to here, opens up, the big old waterfall.
Yep.
Down in the cliff face here, there are various shelves and buildings hanging off of there, and that's these nobles' houses, and you're at one of those. On this
Yep.
shelf hanging off the cliff, only a few hundred feet below the city, still thousands of feet from below.
Gotcha. Okay.
And
Very,
the
very
guys
big
are
cliff.
coming up this wall, right?
The orcs you see them, they're not at the base of the cliff quite yet, but they're coming, so that waterfall goes down and forms a river that goes south and away from the city. Just a little ways down the river, those ships are stopping and they're loading orcs out, and there's already many orcs.
I mean, Alice can change her mind next session, but I think Aridin and I will stay with Burnham.
Yeah, I'll stay with Burnham also, I think.
We're all close combat fighters, so we'll wait till they get close and
Right.
hack away.
This shelf, they're not going to come past this shelf.
Okay.
The trails that lead up the cliffs are off to the east and west. There are various switchback paths that cut up the cliff. There are also some paths that go in and up the cliffs through caves.
Can we ask Magic Mage? I mean, I can comms to Nadam to ask Magic Mage which path he thinks they're most likely to take, and can we position ourselves on that path? Jake.
You're offering to go down there on the ground?
No, not down there. Just the paths that come up the cliffs. If we can be at the upper part of one, then we can
Also, we can pop Darstan's instant fortress in one of those paths.
accurate.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, I can only concentrate on one thing. Oh wait, no, sorry, you have the poppable one. My bad, I forgot.
I do.
Yeah, I think we should probably, on one of those paths or in front of one of these cave entrances, pop Darstan's there,
Yeah.
and then maybe we go to that or the other one, I don't know, and try to do some guarding there. I would personally vote for trying to see where it seems like the demons are kind of leaders, I would assume.
It
Kinda
does seem
see
like
whether-
that each of these groups of orcs is led by one of these massive demons.
Yeah, so maybe seeing where those demons are headed and try to pick them off. Because if we pick off their leadership, then they're probably just complete chaos.
And I don't need to stay on the pass. I can come with Arena and Thea, and that's fine. I just want to be, more in the action, not back on the island.
Okay. The island is at the top of the cliff, right at the cliff's edge, so.
How close is it to the like pathway into the city?
There's several pathways into the city, but it's I guess pretty far from them because the pathways into the city are
Okay.
actually outside the city walls.
Yeah, I want to be closer. It's range.
Cool. Yeah, so basically, like I said differently, it's like looking at there's the cliffs, right? Like there's switchbacks like way over here and like way over here that go up. There are also some caves that are in various spots among the thing that then go in and then like up and pop up in the city. So
Okay. So we can also do some tactics before next week.
all right, Nadam, you catch up and you arrive at the Church of Kelemvor, the Cathedral of Kelemvor, and when you get there, you see that the doors to the cathedral are open. And you see that as you come into the cathedral, you see on the far side of the cathedral there's this big open long area here. On the far side of the cathedral, there's another set of doors that lead out to this big open area at the edge of the very edge of the cliff here. And you can see your mages are over there on the far side of the altar and everything, and are there. Some of them are setting up these mortar devices, and others are keeping the priests back. The priests seem very angry.
I walk right over and I say, thank you for allowing us to use this area temporarily.
This is a sacred place. You're not going to set up weapons of war here?
Is this not the temple of the god of death?
It doesn't work like that. Oh, people are so simple. No, this is a place of worship. We don't glorify death and killing. We carry those who have died naturally into the afterlife.
I don't glorify it either.
Oh
But
shit!
we're here to help deal with the orcs.
Deal with the orcs somewhere else. This is a holy space.
How hard does it look like it would be to I asked him if there would be a better spot here, like a balcony or somewhere outside that would be better.
So this is outside. This is like on the cathedral is long and skinny north-south, and you've come in the north side of the cathedral and come out the south side of the cathedral onto this sort of landing area at the edge of the cliff face. So you're not in the cathedral, he's just mad.
I offer a donation to the church. Mostly I'm stalling.
A donation. He's offended.
And I say, well then we'll conclude our business and be off.
And he says it's only a week ago that someone was burning holes in the roof and lighting fires in the pews.
Well, I promise we will not damage the grounds. And I ask First of Gold if he's ready.
We're almost ready, sir.
All right. I continue to talk with the priest and sort of stall him.
Great. And then a little while later, he says, we're ready, sir. What are our orders?
Target the ships.
And fire at will?
Fire at will.
He starts barking some orders to the men in Azion. They get everything ready. They load up these magical mortar things. You see that there's a few. It takes like 3 or 4 mages per one of these, and they've set up like 3 of them. And then the other mages are basically using I forget the name of the spell. It's like fabricate or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And they are making the ammo for these things, which are these large, like ballista-sized arrows with these, where the front has clearly, just behind the arrowhead, there's something that's very clearly larger than the rest of the shaft. It is housing something. And they're fabricating these, and they say, "First volley ready, aim." And you see that at the front, they've each got like one of the dudes like an arcane eye thing going on, and they're like adjusting the trajectory, and the other mages are moving it. And he says in Elvish, "Fire!" And 3 of these giant arrows like streaking with magical energy as they shoot out of these giant like cannon things, streak up, fly over thing, and then because you guys are so high up on this cliff and right on the edge, they're able to get that distance. And the first one hits one of the ships loaded with orcs, and when it hits it, there's this suddenly. It's like it's like in Star Wars those things that the Boba Fett shoots out at.
Yeah.
Or Jango Fett, whichever one. One of the Fett guys shoots out at Obi-Wan with it silent, and this huge, like, you guys have actually seen this before. It's like in Mesro when that Sphere of Annihilation just took out a quarter of the city. This thing goes, it's massive. It takes out the entire ship, and then vanishes, and you just see that, like, it's created this crater in the ground, and the river water is, like, filling it and starting to form this, like, almost like a little bit of a lake.
I have them, fire a few more volleys. I don't want to overstay my welcome in this church. I want to leave being a very unpleasant nuisance and not like I'm going to kill that guy.
Fair enough.
They're able to manufacture 2 more volleys before they're going to be spent.
Cool, that's fine. And then we leave. Having, probably destroyed the ships and then maybe walk to
fire off 9 of these shots. Yeah, you can destroy the ships. Some of the ships with their troops on them, some of the ships have already been offloaded, but at least they don't have a path to retreat by sea.
No, this is great. They're going to have to walk home and be very exhausted.
And there are these massive, massive explosions. We're not even
Did
really
everybody
explosions.
drown?
They're like negative energy. It's like antimatter.
Can we tell if they all drowned?
I don't think they're there anymore.
They're not there anymore. Yeah, they were incinerated.
Great. Better.
Annihilated.
Better and better.
As you guys they're loading everything down, and Gold One comes to you, and he says, "If you're curious how they operate, sir,
Please."
Portable hole, bag of holding." Straight up the thing that you see on Reddit all the time where someone draws at an arrow. I'm like, that would not work at arrow scale, but at mortar scale.
Yeah, I like it.
Similar concept, have to be fabricated on the fly, uses a lot of magical energy, but...
I understand. This will be quite useful. And I look at, like, this giant, great orcish host that is now, like, a little scattered.
Yeah. Definitely. Some of the orcs that were, like, offloading one of the ships as it got hit, like, half the orcs have scattered off in one direction, the other half have, like, followed their demon off in the correct direction.
Probably blew up a bunch in the back ranks and stuff.
Yeah. Definitely some damage here. And actually, what happens at that point, because you've lived the Black King's Custom Chaos, you hear, it takes a little time for the sound to travel to you, but these at first, there's these, like, just a few, and it's sort of soft, and then hundreds of these orcish horns. And they ring out for a really long time and echo across the whole canyon here and up to the city. And then the rumbling starts again as all the orcs are pounding their feet and starting to charge up here. And various groups of orcs led by demons start charging up to these various switchbacks and to these tunnels. Everyone else who's watching, you can see that it's all of them. There's not just one where they're coming up. They're coming up on the left. They're coming up on the right. They're coming through the tunnels.
Okay.
Some of the demons are starting to fly up towards the city.
The demons are flying up.
Yeah, and that is where I'm going to leave all of you this week.
Damn.
Cool.
Thank you, viewers, for watching. Thanks for tuning in on this extra early episode. We should be back to our normal time next week. Please do comment on the video, message the page, give us your feedback, let us know what you think. My players, please do message me tonight with your rose, thorn, bud. That is the thing you liked, the thing you didn't like, and the thing you're looking forward to. Lincoln, take it away.
And please tune in Monday night for the maybe exciting conclusion, maybe just more exciting stuff, as our players have now mostly unraveled the mysteries of Arquand and now have to figure out what the hell they're going to do about it.
Yep.
See you all on Monday, this channel right here, 7:15 Pacific Standard Time for Into the Black.
PM. Cool. And with that, we will see you all next week. Bye-bye now.